This podcast is a proud member of the Unidentified Network.
On the Track is a web TV show about cryptozoology, natural history, green issues and whatever else the team feel like making up as they go along. Enjoy!
So what's in today's show, Mr. John?
Well, Hennis, for the third time we visit our old friend Dave Scott of CFZ Canada as he concludes his interesting conversation with First Nations Bigfooter Robyn Moonshadow. Enjoy.
I really like the old credits.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name's John Downs, and welcome to another episode of On the Track. In this week's... hang on, something's happening. I can hear something strange from over there, and it looks like it's part of an ill-defined corner of the home counties.
And now, it's Gwen Dibley's Pearls of Wisdom.
Being a baker is poor work if your head is made of butter.
I'm the director and that was rubbish. Take it again. Take two. And watch out, that nearly took my whiskers off.
Hello, we'll try it again. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name's John Downs, and I'm the director of the Centre for Fortean Zoology. And every Saturday afternoon at 3 for about half an hour, and every Wednesday evening at 6:30 for about half that, we bring you a show which is a miscellany, a mishmash, a melange and a mixture of hard science, weird shit and surreality. What's surreality, I hear you ask? I'll go and ask the director.
I don't care what surreality is. It's probably some nonsense thought up by Computer Boy.
Don't call me Computer Boy.
Well, not only does Computer Boy not like us calling him Computer Boy, but he, back in his real identity of being Louis, the producer, he objects to something that Peanut just said.
John, young people don't need surreality. We've got AI virtual girlfriends who tend to our emotional needs, such as asking how our day's been. And you know what the best part is? They even show some ankle. I told you I had a good one.
You are a bloody idiot, Louis. And now enough of this tomfoolery. I've got both Louis and V ready to interrupt and put their oar in on my iPad. But before we give them a chance to do that, over once again to David Scott from CFZ Canada and Robyn Moonshadow, the fascinating First Nation of Canada cryptozoologist and Bigfoot expert. Enjoy.
Which is just as well, because if you're gonna think the way he thought, everything is a Bigfoot when it's not, then you're no business. Like you're no business in the woods. It's not safe. So, and then since then, I've been leery about who I go out with.
Yeah.
I've been lucky that the couple of other people that I've gone out with were nice people. I've been lucky that way. My partner in the States, because here I'm by myself.
Yeah.
We get along well, and we do things the same way, and we don't get in each other's way. So that worked out really well. I think he's afraid of me, though. So if you can find a partner to go out with and you get along really well and it works, then you have more sets of eyes out in the field. So yeah, we get along great. So other animals that things that have happened. We were up at an area in Linville Gorge, and we found a beautiful set of cast prints. And here was a lesson. It was just a trackway, beautiful, like a lot like the ones that I found in Virginia, and it wasn't too far from the campground. One of these again in plain sight, and I didn't have any casting material with me. I said, okay, we're going to go get some casting material. I'll come back and get these tracks. And halfway back, it starts to rain. I got pictures of the trackway, but the tracks were ruined. So there's a lesson. So now I always carry casting material with me.
Yep.
I'll just put it in a Ziploc bag, and I carry water, and we're good to go, and you mix it in the bag. So always now, because that was a blown chance there. Before we had found the tracks, we were out the night before, and he always brings his dog, and I kept hearing these very subtle twig snaps behind me. Just very subtle, enough for me to hear, but very quiet. And it wasn't just a little snip or snap. It was almost repetitive. And I knew what it was. We were being followed by a cougar, mountain lion. And I knew it. And I'm thinking, it must be after the dog. Because this wasn't more than 20 feet behind us. And we've got the thick laurels there, and it's dark and you can't see. But it was enough of a pattern where I could make out that it's a cat. And so we put the dog between us, and we couldn't go back in the way that we came. Because this is like stalking behavior from a big cat. Because big cats will show you all different kinds of expressions and things in their face. Of course, I can't see there in the dark. I mean, there's curious cat, and then there's playful cat, and there's stalking cat. And then you'll see some of these videos where the cat's driving people away because they got too close to their babies or in their territory. And sometimes they mean business, and sometimes they just want to scare you out. And they'll throw dirt, and if their ears go back and this is constant and they're yelling at you, they mean business. But if it's a lot of this mock charging things, just back up, keep hollering, never turn your back on a big cat.
Yeah. Because
they're stalkers, they'll pounce you. So even if you think you're being followed by a cat, turn around and look every 10 feet.
Yeah.
Because they'll come up behind you if you don't. So this is what we did. So we can't go back the way we came. So we're crawling through these laurels and everything else to get through there. The dog did better than we did because she could just go underneath. And my partner says, "Are you sure this is a big cat?" I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, the dog knew something was up. So we're out of all these laurels and stuff. And that cat's not going to go through the effort to do what we just did. They have to figure out, okay, is this prey item worth all this trouble?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, it wasn't. And so we get back to camp, and we're going through all of our stuff, and we're going to go through some footage. And about a quarter a mile away, we hear dogs barking and a big cat shrieking and hissing, and it was the cougar.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, see, told you.
That's it. That made an interesting thought, because the first day I had the cougar follow me out,
Mm-hmm.
and the next 2.5, I say 2.5 days, but never heard it again. But
Yeah,
that's where we were getting the other activity in the area. So
yeah.
that's
I don't think that they mess with Bigfoot.
no, I don't think they would either. They'd mess with a hog, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they'd hunt down the hog. So
Yeah, because some of them will specialize in taking down hogs.
yeah. And plus, there was 3 of us one day.
Yeah. And a lot of animals can identify if you a rifle.
Yeah. Well, we had pistols on.
Or pistol, yeah. They know what guns are because, well, big cats are funny in the way that, and they are one of my favorite things to track.
Mm-hmm.
Because, not just because they're elusive, but if you're specifically tracking them, they'll be up on a cliff or in a bush or somewhere watching what you're doing, and then they'll start following you to see what you're doing. Yeah. Like, why are you following my tracks? And sometimes they'll just go off and not bother, but sometimes they'll follow you for a long time to see what you're up to. But yeah, I do like it that in a way it's fun. Because then you get to see what the cat's up to. And then you'll circle around and say, okay, he was following me. So yeah, it is like one of my favorite things to track. Just because I find it fun. I know it may sound scary to some people, but if you know what you're doing and you're careful, you'll be okay. I know there's honey collectors in Sumatra that will wear a mask on the back of their head.
Mm-hmm.
Because those tigers in Sumatra, the majority of them are man-eaters. And this messes them up because they think that you're looking at them, and it messes up their behavior where they'll pounce on you. And they're tigers. So, and Sumatra is a place that I'd like to go. Like, I've seen Sumatra tigers at the zoo. They're beautiful, very vibrant orange. Mm-hmm. And they're formidable, even if they're smaller than a Bengal or a Siberian. But they're formidable anyway. Mm-hmm. Even our animals up here are bigger than say the ones in the south. Yeah. But they're still formidable because they'll tear you to pieces.
Yeah.
And they'll go for a killing blow as quick as they can.
Yeah.
Because it will minimize damage to them. It's like if they can grab you by the back of the neck and break your neck, or put their teeth through your spine, or whatever they can do, or go for your face.
I've had 2 run-ins with cougars.
Yeah.
There's another.
They're a big, beautiful cat.
Oh yeah.
Just careful.
Another time we went. My father-in-law and his new wife, they're birders. They were birders. He passed them. We were down by the dump because I want to see the red-headed vultures. Because everybody's used to black-headed vultures, they didn't see, but we had a lot around Denton. And so we're down there, and Granddaddy and Carol was just little at the time. They were off at the end. Granddaddy walked with a limp. Carol was small. And Eleanor and I were over looking at a bird. Well, she was looking at a bird. I was just with her. And we turned around, and Eleanor goes, "There's a cougar over there." And I looked over, and I could see it coming through the grass towards Granddaddy and Carol. So, of course, Granddaddy was deaf. We're yelling at him, "Pick Carol up, pick Carol up, pick Carol up." And he wasn't. So I kind of moved my way over there, and I picked Carol up, and I threw her on my shoulders, up on top of my shoulder. Well, now Carol and I are like 7 feet tall all of a sudden.
Yeah.
7.5 feet tall. This cat took off. It just gone,
Not worth the effort. Yep.
And then Granddaddy saw it and realized what I was yelling about.
Yep.
But those are my 2 things. I did walk up when we were hiking in Braeside, which is just west of Empire along the River Road. We used to go hiking up in the woods up there. I used to live up there when I was younger, and I was played up in the woods up there. And then when I moved back to Arnprior, it was only a 4-mile hike. Because when you're 9, 10 years old, that's easy, And we're walking up, and you had to. This one spot we went through, you had to go underneath junipers. to come out the other side. When we come out the other side, Chris Dickinson's in front of me. He stops dead. Just we're all piling down.
Run into him, yeah.
Okay? You know, so we all kind of looked at it. It was a black bear with her cub.
Ooh.
So we all creeped slowly back to the junipers and went home.
Put up the big do not disturb sign.
Yeah, that was the end of that hike. Yeah. And after that, instead of having 7 or 8 guys with us, we were down to 2 or 4. You know, we got rid of the chaff.
Well, when you're going through this forest, you're supposed to make some noise. Now, some of us who walk quietly, it can't be helped, and you do see a lot of things before it sees you. I've walked up on deer before and scared them really badly. It's not on purpose. It's just the way we walk. My mother had a thing about when you go into the woods, don't disturb anything. That's their house, and you be polite in their house, and you don't be making noise and crashing things around and things. It's different if you're in bear territory. You got to talk and things. A few times I've been followed in my research areas here, and I was getting sick of it because I know I'm being followed.
Yeah.
So, and it was always at a certain time of day. So I put up a trail camera, and it was a coyote.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, it's one of them idiots.
Yeah.
The coyotes that are here will patrol the same area.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how they live. They couldn't catch cold. I mean, there's a couple of foxes here that are incredible hunters.
Yeah.
And I've never seen these coyotes with anything. I think they had a duck one time off of my trail cameras, a duck. And that's a bit of a skill there, but I haven't seen them with anything else. This last trip, we went, it was Allegheny, and we went across to a creek. Water was very cold. And we went across the creek, and as soon as we got to the other side, coyotes ripping and hollering, and not too far off. Ripping. Well, we heard the yip, yip, yip. And then, about 10 of them chimed in, and I went, uh-oh. I'm like, okay, we put the trail cameras out. Okay, don't get separated. Put the trail cameras out, and then we're going. And it was about 5 minutes in of putting the trail cameras up. You can see the dog watching something coming through, and I heard something. I'm like, coyotes are here. So we were surrounded by at least 4, maybe 5, but they kept their distance. And I'm like, yeah, I think we came up on a den, but not close enough to be a big threat, but they were just keeping their eyes on us. And so we put the trail cameras up, and we went out, and we were watching from the hill, and we were hearing some weird noises going on, and something got thrown at us. And okay, don't know where it came from, but something got thrown at us. And we waited, but we didn't see anything. And then 3 days later, we go back to get these trail cameras, and there was nothing. I'm like, yeah, they just moved their den. Yeah, people got too close, and it's time to move the den. And it's that time of the year where they've got, older puppies.
And they've got 2 or 3 dens, too, so it's an easy move for them,
Oh, yeah, because they're prepped. If something disturbs them, they'll just go to another area in another den.
Yeah.
So they'll just pick up and move.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll come back later if that den, they feel the den is safe.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good spot for them. I didn't mean to disturb them. We didn't know that they were there. Yeah. But, because I try not to disturb anything.
Yeah.
So, but it does happen, and they were fine, and they'll come back.
Yeah.
But things like that, and another time I was coming out of the woods, and I got the feeling I was being followed. And by the time I got to it's again at my parents' house, I looked back across the field, and it was big old timber wolf. Big old timber wolf, gray, beautiful thing. But it stayed way far back. It was just curious. There was no threat. It was just curious.
Mm-hmm.
It probably seen me 100 times. So, like I said, it's just don't freak out with these things. It happens. I know some of us are more used to it than others, and it can be scary, but don't freak out. Don't run. Yeah.
I've only ever seen one timber wolf, and I was going to a friend's wedding. I was a bartender at the time. I was young. And me and my first wife, Susan, were going to a wedding in Brampton. We're almost out of time again. And actually, we talked about this off camera. Anyways, I want to thank you for this Bigfoot segment. I'm going to stop this shortly. And but we're going to talk for a bit after. All right, I want to thank Robyn again. It's been really an interesting meeting. I always love talking to you because I learned so much, from somebody who's done more field research than I have. I do as much as I can, but you've got more years of experience from where I've been doing it for the last 10 years, but there's so many interruptions because of work and kids and that, where yours is more of a linear path.
Mm-hmm.
So
there was a long period of time when my kids were little. I couldn't do like any or very little.
Yeah.
If I did get to, it would be when I'd visit with my mom and we'd go for a walk in the woods or something like this, and we'd see odd things and out of place things like that. But because I wanted to do this all my life, I always come back to it.
Yeah.
I can't remember a time where I didn't want to.
Yeah. Well, when I first moved back home, being in Southern Ontario, I didn't think there's anything down here. I was under the impression there was nothing to do here. And then I was searching one day and I found the Elgin Trail, and I saw that, and it is so easy to get to where the sighting was. You pull in the parking lot, you walk up the hill, and you're there. It takes you 10 minutes to walk into it, which is a lot like the Greenbelt was. So I've been spending time this year down there. Didn't do much. I was more feeling it out. When you go to a new place, you're going to feel it out. And my time's been so limited down there, and plus it being a controlled path, and that it's not something where you can go out and throw a sleeping bag on the ground and cops saying you're a homeless person, especially me. Especially when I get the beard going and the hairs all over the place. Yeah. I look like one, I look like a guy that's down on his luck, but so you can't really do anything there. So it's one of those things where you have to go early in the morning to try to see what happened the night before. I put the cameras up. We had them up for a while, and then when my leg got infected, I had a friend go down and pull them because I didn't know when I was going to get down there, and because it is such a high traffic area sometimes, that I just didn't feel secure. I'm just trying to build up my cameras now. I don't want to be giving them away because with the Rideau Canal one, Louis, can you bleep out where I said I was going? Because I don't want this camera stolen. Because they're going to have their cases on and everything, and it's inexpensive. And plus, I'm putting cellular ones so they can download them. So they're not, $50 ones off of Facebook. They're actually cellular and wireless and everything. So they're good cameras. So, and while I'm thinking of it, I'm going to pause this for 1 second. I need to ask you a question before I forget the name of the pause. Here it is. All right. Take two. I want to thank Robyn again for all the information she shared. It's really fascinating to sit and talk with Robyn. She's one of these people that you can sit and listen to and learn from constantly, and that's why I consider her one of the best cryptozoologists in Canada. And I look forward to doing some stuff in November with Robyn, and hopefully she'll be able to come with us next fall and the fall after.
Oh, yeah.
Go to Fraser Valley, and it's all going to depend on how much money Carol can raise for us. She's going to do her fundraising. She did it for a living for a while, so I'm really counting on her. When I got 200,000 in Nahan, she kind of went, "Dad, I can't raise this much money for that," So, and I told Jonathan. Jonathan goes, "You're nuts. We're not doing that." So,
we'll work on it.
yeah, maybe in 10 years we'll go. I'll be 72. It should still be okay. So, anyways, I want to thank you again, and look forward to the next segment, which we're going to do, which is the little people, which I find absolutely fascinating.
They are.
We'll have that for you whenever Jonathan decides to slip it in behind us. after this one. All right. And so back to you in UK, John. We'll see you later.
If you want to support us and help us make more content like these, please press like, subscribe, follow our Facebook page and check out our Patreon.
And there's the ghost of Joe Strummer, who's an ever more regular visitor to my little house, will tell you. Don't forget to ring the notification bell, otherwise you won't be told when the next episode's gonna be.
And that would be an awful pity, wouldn't it?
If you've been affected by any of the topics in today's episode, you can just bugger off, because we don't give a monkeys. Bloody well get a grip. Sort your own bloody problems out rather than ringing up somewhere.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are at the end of another show. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to say a big thank you to everybody but for whom this episode would not have been made. First of all, my producer, Louis.
That's me!
Hurrah!
And V. McCrinnan.
That's me.
Waha!
That sounded very spontaneous, boys. I want to say a big... Shut up, you two. I want to say a big thank you to my carer, Graham, but for whom nothing would ever... Yes, I said you could interrupt. They're throwing a hissy fit now. I want to say a big thank you to my carer, Graham, but for whom I really wouldn't be able to do anything. And I want to say thank you to my guests this week, who were Dave Scott from CFZ Canada and Robyn Moonshadow, also from Canada. And who else has been involved this week? Richard Freeman and various other people. And I want to say a big, big thank you to Gwyn Palmer for everything she's done in the last week, because she is a magnificent assistant director for the CFZ. And I want to send out healing vibes and all my love and all the love of an awful lot of people watching this show to Miss Maxine, who is still extremely unwell. God bless you, my dear. We're all with you every step of the way. And so, I'm coming back on Wednesday. What am I talking about on Wednesday? I've got absolutely no idea. Let's move on to next Saturday. The trouble is I've actually got no idea about that either. But I will be doing a show on Wednesday and I will be doing a show on Saturday. So, Mr. McCrinnan,
Yeah.
will you be watching the show on Saturday, Mr. McCrinnan?
Of course.
Well, if you're there watching the show, and I'm here doing all the stuff I do, the live chat and the likings and the talkings and the other gibbledy-gabbledy-gobbledy, then, before I just say that I'm going to be seeing him, please guys, watching the show, can you please like, subscribe and comment if you possibly can. And if you can be there at 3 o'clock each week to join in the live chat, it'll make me a very happy old curmudgeon. Because your mother said I was a curmudgeon, didn't she, Louis?
Yes, but she wasn't wrong.
I'm not a curmudgeon.
Technically, she said you were curmudgeonly. Take that for what it's worth.
Oh, why do I get involved with the Rosio family? It's because his mother is so absolutely delightful and a goddess amongst women. So...
Louis' my real dad. Sorry.
I need new friends.
So, V, you're going to be watching the show.
Yes, because my real dad Louis will be in there.
And so, if you're going to be watching the show, and I'm there doing all the stuff I do, then I will be seeing you.
Annoying.
That's brilliant, boys.